Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what we're looking for. Walleye! Real. Good. Good. First impression.
Ooh, that's good.
Red hot for the win, to be honest.
No, this is not Outdoor GPS.
You're
This is
watching
Fishing
Fishing Addicts
Addicts.
Northwest.
This is Fishing Addicts YouTube Live, but we do have special guests tonight. Owen Hayes in the house from Outdoor GPS. I'm sure everybody tuning in knows exactly when and where to watch that, but for those that don't know, which I doubt there's anybody out there,
Right.
so just
Thursday and Friday, Saturday and Sunday mornings every week on NBC Sports Northwest.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you can't find us there, you can find
Comments.
us on Facebook once a week for about 15 minutes until we get tired, and then we leave.
and then you get better stuff to do. And I'm out of here.
Well, I'm supposed to be leaving at 9. It slows down my fishing. It slows down my hunting. Although hunting season's done now, unfortunately.
Well, that's right. Did you shed a tear? Is Eva happy now?
She is happy now, very much happy now. Unfortunately, I didn't shed a tear. The last month of the season was terrible for myself, at least in the areas that I hunt in the North Valley. But I've actually been spending a lot more time chasing steelhead this year by this time than I would ever spend.
Ever imagine?
Chasing steelhead. Absolutely. I usually would never chase steelhead in December. But I've been chasing them since then and still get my butt kicked, even today.
It's been a season.
I don't care who you are. It hasn't been pretty. Unless you're going to some target-rich environment up north. It's been a little tough.
You got a giant the other day, though.
I did. Down south. Down in Oregon. I did.
Yeah.
I did.
First thing off, get out of my state.
That-
Second,
that
get
was-
off
hey,
my river.
I got to give some props. We'll just say
He
it.
comes
So
down my river.
people don't know yet, but we filmed an episode of Addicted Life with Ryan Beck. Went and did some broodstock hunting, and he put me on a nice one. And what's funny is that particular river, for me, has been a bane in my side,
Right.
for 5 or 6 trips.
Yeah.
And we've caught some fish, but every time it usually goes, it pours rain, blows it out,
Right.
turns to mud, and so finally we got there, got a good day, and got a big fish for it.
Yeah, well, when you
And he's sitting in the tank. We're going to spawn babies with that guy.
well, that's right. It's going to the broodstock program.
Yep.
Okay,
It
so
will-
that's the
that's
only
where he
good
went.
thing about him coming
Yeah.
down to our sorry.
But we were with Ryan Beck. We filmed an awesome episode of Addicted Life. So it's it'll be a little while. We like to put those Addicted Life episodes out a little later. Just a little bit kind of after the
this says-
seasonality.
Give that reel away, someone says.
Oh, yeah. So you're already noticing that
we're
reel,
not gonna
huh?
give
That's
that
the
real
new.
away.
That's the new
Yeah.
Okuma right there.
There it
But
is.
we are going to talk about that. But we are going to
Yeah.
give away an Okuma hat and a decal. All you guys got to do is just share this. Please share this out there on your social media feeds or wherever, and tell people to come talk steelhead fishing and say what's up to Owen. We don't have very many opportunities to get him in here, so it's cool
Yeah.
that he came and hung out with
This
us
is
tonight.
the second time.
Second time.
Yeah, super glad. Thank you very much for having
Yeah.
me up too, by the way.
Yeah.
But remind me next time if I get a chance to come up, if I'm lucky enough to come hang out with you again, tell me to leave an hour earlier than I did today. I mean, I'm telling you right now. Getting out of the city of Portland, getting into Vancouver, for everybody that does it every day, you are a better man, better woman than I am. I mean, that is insane. Insane.
That's the reason why people fish.
True.
Get away from that crap.
Well, I see
That
why you normally
nonsense.
stay up here rather than going down.
I try to
down
hide
south.
up here as much as I
get
can.
So anyway, guys, share this out there. Comment below because we'll randomly select from the comments. So Cam, what are we going to be talking tonight to get so they can start firing
just
some
on
questions?
the YouTube live feed, guys, what we're going to do is, we're going to talk about the Portland Sportsman Show, some new little doodads here, because obviously next Wednesday we'll be going live from the Portland Sportsman Show, but this is our last opportunity to talk about it. We also have got some. We also released some videos on releasing some wild steelheads. We're going to touch on that, and then I think maybe we'll touch a little bit on the YouTube, but we will definitely on Facebook. Is some of capitalizing on your opportunities at steelhead
Which are so rare.
which are rare. Like I said, like you
This
said today,
year.
and I ain't gonna lie. I went out twice this week, just on little scout missions, and I mean, fishing for me was it was pretty good the last month. Every time we were finding fish. The last 2 times I went out, I never had a bite.
Really?
That high water moved a lot of those fish up, and nothing came in behind it.
He just
So
admitted
he
that.
is human.
So,
Yeah, he is
So,
human.
I literally
okay.
canceled everything last 2 days. I got new tires on the truck today. I'm just hanging out.
Really?
Wait, yeah.
You canceled trips because it's as slow as it is.
Oh, yeah,
For you.
right.
No.
If we're not catching fish, I ain't interested.
No,
I'm bored. But I mean, like I said, it's been good. I mean, we got rain. We got rain coming Thursday, Friday. I mean, I expect
I even
there to be
read
some more
somewhere they're
fish.
talking about possibility of snow, at least down south a little bit. But who knows if that's going to happen or not. But
I saw they stuck that snowflake in there. You need to tell those guys back at the stations, like, don't do that. Just freaks people out. High of 44, low of 31. Snowflake.
Yeah, scares
World's
everybody
ending
out. Hopefully it scares them
already.
off the river.
My wife
Your wife.
was like just so excited, like snow's coming.
Yeah.
I was
No.
like, snow better not come right before the show.
I do like fishing in the snow, though. I'll be stealing
absolutely.
fishing Sunday, Monday.
Makes
in
for
the snow.
great photos.
It's
Yeah.
cool.
No doubt about it. Especially
quiet.
the camera that you're using. That photo that you took of me when I had a chance to go fishing with you, which, by the way, he hooked the fish and handed it to me. I'll admit that.
Did I?
You did.
You spanked on beads that day.
No, I didn't spank, but the one that you took a picture of, that was one that he hooked. He handed it off to me. I'll admit that right here on your show. But I still, that photo, I actually framed it because that photo was so beautiful.
Well, let's go do it again.
Yeah, I'd like to.
If we actually.
Especially on that same river. I know we won't say it, but man.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh my God.
And there's some big fish in there too. But with that said, we're going to be talking, like I said, capitalizing on those opportunities. Because like we're talking about here, we're licking our own wounds. The opportunities are few and far between. So, making sure, proper leader material, proper tools, proper hooks, any of those kind of things, and also a little bit of the strategy too. Because, I mean, even though, like I said, the last month, we're definitely finding some fish.
Yeah.
But I'm catching a lot of fish right now in spots that just don't get fished.
Right.
None of the regular runs that people think, oh, this looks like a steel. None of the traditional stuff. Just pocket water, summer fishing, stuff that 3 boats hadn't run diver and bait through. You had to go behind the rock in the top end of the hole, and bam, you find one in a foot of water.
Right.
Just thinking a little bit outside the box.
Why do you think that is? What do you think's different? Or
Well,
from
this
the
year-
rivers that you fish, you fish pretty specifically, and you know the water really, really well. Why do you think that is?
I think it's pressure, and just this year we've had very just unseasonably low waters. We're fishing a lot of times in, if you take 7 days out of the week, we're getting some rains, and you're fishing, 2 days when the water's kind of up, maybe a little off, steelhead green, but it's without that lowland snow, these rivers
just instantly drops
just
right back
boom,
down.
right down to the bottom, and now you're fishing, low 8, 9, 10 foot of visibility just instantly, and those fish, they want cover. They're not sitting in glassy tailouts. They're immediately responding. They're turning right into summer fish.
Point.
Like I said, it's also tough because there's not many of them.
Right.
There just isn't. I don't care who you are. You look at the hatchery numbers and the returns and where we're at and where we're going. It's not. It's definitely going to be a down year.
And when we interviewed the ODFW guy, he even said let's not sugarcoat it.
His words verbatim, subpar.
Yeah.
He's like, we don't want to call it bad, but we'll call it subpar.
Yeah,
interesting,
Dying. But that'll be out in a couple weeks on that Addicted Life. It was cool because, like I said, they met us down at one of the tanks in the morning, and we got to talk with them. And they had some fish that they were actually moving, and so we were actually able to go up and then catch a fish, put one in there.
Yeah,
at the
you
end
gotta
of
love the broodstock programs.
Well,
Absolutely.
they put out some good quality fish. One thing we do want to stress, though, because even with that episode, is that those guys down there on that river, one thing the ODFW guy said is they are good for help this year. They've got their equipment loaned out, and they said every time, not just us, but there's been I think Grant McComey did a video there, and they've done some other videos on that river where people get flooded, we want to help. It's they've got their help, but if you do want to help, there's still ways you guys can do that, and that's either go with a guide that is partaking or participating in the program,
Right.
or participate in any of the fundraisers, the conservation groups that support the broodstock program as well. There's other opportunities that we can donate money and time.
Right.
So I just wanted to stress that they have all their equipment checked out for the year. Don't blow up ODF&W.
It was
wanting
interesting to
support
hear
of
that he did say there's a lot of conservation groups that are actually helping run those programs. It's not just funded by ODFW. So.
Right.
And it wasn't too long ago where there was a lot of conflict there with doing broodstock programs, where they kept it very, very quiet on a lot of the rivers, at least on the Oregon side. If it was just Sandy or Wilson, whatever, some of the sleds for that matter, they try to keep it on the down low so people didn't get too far out of whack. It's nice to see people coming around and understanding the benefits of that broodstock program. It didn't take very many years for people to catch 12, 15-pound hatchery fish and realize, that's the reason.
It was
why
also
we're
interesting to hear that he said they've been doing that on the Wilson for 20 plus years.
Right.
Tillamook County. Everybody in Tillamook County, thank you.
Wait,
We all
you
love
just dropped the river name, bud.
I did.
A name.
He dropped like 4, so I figured it was
attention. I was like, wait a
I
second.
figured it was okay. Owen
Wait, we
dropped
can't
it.
even say a name?
No, can't say
No.
anything. But guys,
It's
we're
a
gonna
joke.
let that
It's
slide
fine.
a little
It's
bit
fine.
when we're talking
It's
this
fine.
broodstock fishing because we do need to put a little
I got
bit.
so many more that I want to ramble off.
We have to put support behind it, and it's hard to promote it and talk about it if you can't say the river name. So.
Well, and keep in mind, dude, there are broodstock programs that are being right now conducted in Washington. I'm happen to be fishing one of the rivers, and I've even seen a direct result from some early returning giant hatchery fish. And what's crazy about that river is right now I'm either catching a hatchery fish that's somewhere between 10 and 14 pounds, or I'm catching an unclipped fish that's like 6 or 7.
Right.
And I think what you're seeing is like, some of those early returning chamber survivors that weren't supposed to spawn on the gravel that did. And now you're seeing that component, and then you're actually seeing the broodstock component. But those rivers, they have collection. They don't use
Anglers.
the anglers. They
Oh,
don't,
really?
they don't necessarily need the anglers to catch this wild broodstock.
Interesting.
So-
How do they actually get the fish? Are they trapping them?
Yeah,
Or-
there's both rivers that are doing them. They either have dam or they have a waterfall weir.
Interesting.
Like so they monitor, or not monitor, but I guess they can control the passage into the upper watersheds. So
Well,
they
that
have
still leads us
opportunity.
right to maximizing each individual opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Myself today fished for 6 hours from sun up until about 1:30ish or so. Fished all morning, fished it super hard, hit every little nook and cranny like you're talking about. All the spots where you would assume fish should be, which they generally don't seem to be most of the time. Walked all the way out, decided we were going to leave, made one last cast at the very last spot. We call it the cool down spot. We get there, make one cast, hook a fish, lost it. Had it on for 30 seconds. Long enough to just get super excited. And gone.
Womp womp.
Bead fishing though. I mean,
Yeah.
beads, it seems like you
just lose more
50%.
fish.
You know, we've tried everything we can think of to try to maximize those bites. And sometimes you might even think that it's worth maybe going away from fishing a bead to get a different bite, present it differently so that you might land that fish. I don't know if you'd call that maximizing an opportunity. Would you get bit if it wasn't a bead? I don't know. But I'd rather hook 2 and have a chance to land it.
It's funny you say that because we hooked 5 or 6 fish,
Well-
and all the ones we hooked on beads we lost. We landed all the ones we hooked on jigs and worms.
Okay.
And
So- I
just love beads.
one thing that's funny though,
love
I do love beads. Like and like I said, we went up. We got to experience. Marlon loves beads now, especially we got to go up and do some tribal fishing.
Oh,
some
up in the-
reservation.
Okay.
And it was.
I love beads up there.
Wait till
Yeah.
you see the Addicted Life episodes on those ones, boys and
Yeah,
girls.
yeah.
We'll just tease that out right now. But
I'm actually very interested in
There-
seeing that myself.
But down in here, where there's not a lot of fish, and there's not I don't think I've even either caught or hooked a fish on a bead, but because I'm using a lot of small, tiny jigs,
Yeah.
where I can, a little bit of bait, just to, like I said, if you're gonna get a hookup, you would much rather have it on a jig.
Yeah.
Than you would a bead.
Your big fish down south, what was it on?
jig,
It was on a jig.
little tiny jig.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
Little guy.
16th ounce?
No, but
No,
I
it
mean
was
like
an eighth, but
it was
just
an
not much
eighth, but
material on it.
I tied it with just a teeny bit of peach, a little
Okay.
tuft of tail.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean, and I was surprised. I mean, usually they say big fish don't bite jigs or beads.
Yeah.
But
We
they
hooked
do.
3 on worms too. So
Yeah, I know. It's funny. It's a joke.
Big fish don't bite on beads?
No.
Somebody actually said that.
Well, they said that, but then, like it said, you go up to where they're doing a lot. We'll just say where we're doing some extremely robust brood stocking up in tribal land. Then you realize that you're catching, multiple 20-pound class fish on a bead that's 8 millimeter.
Okay, now
Left
see
and
that.
right, and then you can't tell me that big fish don't bite beads. Over and over and
I was
over
going to say the biggest
and
steelhead I've seen in the
over
last 5
and
years has
over
been on
and over
beads.
again.
yeah.
Now that could be because we're fishing beads a lot more than we're fishing anything else these days, and that's one of the things you guys talk a lot about.
Yeah.
Maximizing your opportunities and maybe even being willing to change from one technique or style to another one. I'm getting myself stuck in fishing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and wanting to make a change from a bead to a jig or something else. But just not having the confidence, not doing it and sticking with the bead. Today I found myself getting lazy, flipping out a cast, and big old bow I'm trying to chandelier, so I'm trying to keep my bobber up and down, and I'm just getting lazy because I can't get bit. I'm starting to get sewered. You just get to that point where you've made 10,000 casts, your bobber's not going down. You can't do that. You got to focus, because it's always that one time when you're just screwing around.
Dude, it is. Or
And
the
then-
second you turn away, your bobber goes under.
Yeah. It seems like it's like that almost every single time.
Mm-hmm.
This year I've only hooked
They
a
love
handful of fish, and I bet you half of them has been. Oh, where'd my bobber go? I got one,
Fish.
You know, you just
So when you're
you get
talking about
lazy.
capitalizing on the bites, you can't get lazy. No,
Yeah, well, don't get lazy,
Don't
and you
get
got to be willing to
lazy,
change.
yeah.
Too.
And then the other thing is trying to just when you go out, cast and don't give
Yeah.
up, you know, because
Don't
that's
give
like
up.
so these guys
Nope.
they leave to go pick up the boats, and I just
Well,
stayed.
okay, that's something else.
No, I mean I just stayed on the water and kept fishing. Like
Yeah.
they were going to pick up the boats, and I
Yeah.
just
Okay,
continue to fish. Don't
Yeah.
like why not? I'm sitting
Yeah.
here, the
You're
river's
there.
right in front of me. I might as well
Yeah.
fish, right? And we got another fish.
How many boat launch fish have you caught? Really? I mean, in the midst of a shuttle, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
In the midst of a shuttle, how many times have you hooked one of those fish? It happens.
A lot, actually.
Actually,
yeah.
there's another river that we did that just 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't freaking believe it because we fished all day, got one, and we left the guy's brother, ran up, get the vehicle, come back, he's got one flopping on the bank. So when we pulled up, this will be in the Addicted Life episode too, guys. We pull up, Jordan, I look over, and he's just got this shit-eating grin on his face, and he's just shaking his head. I'm like, what's so funny? I pull up, and here's this fish. Like, I literally pull my truck up, and there's this fish flopping on the ground. I'm like, no way.
He's
Come
the
on.
hero of the day. The hero of the day.
Spiked one.
Hey, Artem, thanks so much, man. We appreciate
Yep.
the super chat more than you know. We
Super
appreciate it, man.
chat. Thank you.
If you guys didn't know what super chat is, there's a little dollar symbol icon down there in the comments. If you guys want to contribute to Addicted or help us continue to do what we do, you can always give us a super chat. Also, if you have a question that you want to make sure it 100% gets answered, you can see as you super chat, it highlights that whole question, brings it up, and pops into our face a lot more visible for you guys to see. So
I did see.
thank you so much. If you guys contribute with those super chats, it means a lot.
I did see. We just lost the comment, but someone was checking in from India.
India?
Yeah. I
Heck
saw-
yeah, dude.
Yeah, where did that go? I just saw. Oh yeah,
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
he-
Crazy about fishing. Good morning, everyone from India.
What's
Dude,
up, man?
That's crazy.
He
That's
comments
cool.
on all of our YouTube videos
That's
too. So.
sick.
That's awesome.
Thanks for tuning in, man.
We've got them from.
Show us some India
Afghanistan?
fish.
Where did we get the one? Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Military guy that
Oh,
was
yeah.
from Oregon was over there watching. He's like, from Saudi.
Nice.
Okay,
It's
man,
so
that's
cool.
Cool.
It's super awesome that you can do that and just reach people
Yeah.
all around the world. So
Yeah. Let's see here, and then I saw another. Can you scroll up again for a half second? I did.
Tell me when.
Saw another one I actually wanted to touch on. Oh, 20 millimeter beads. Have you gotten into
yeah,
any of
how
that
do you
kind of
feel about
stuff?
those? Oh, and let us know
Okay,
your thoughts
Brandon,
on
if
a
you're
20
out there
mil.
watching, this is no bad thing. At 20 millimeter, I can't do it. No, 16, proven, works. We've done okay with those. Actually, more so on silvers than we have on steelhead. But the 20, it could be the most deadly bead there is. I just can't throw it. You look at it, it's on your hook, you know. I'm like, do I put a 1 on this? Do I mean, really?
Just put a treble right through the
It's
bead. It'll
just
cover it completely.
huge.
Yeah.
Now, I know that people catch fish on them. Brandon from BNR, I don't know if you guys know him or not, but he's caught them with those 20s. And I know that have, but they're just so big, I just can't do it.
Are they really that big though? Charles dropped some like.
Okay, now hold on.
dropped some
Yes, I get your
know.
profile. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying about the
It's
profile.
funny because we were talking. We had the
But
same
that's
discussion a couple
natural
of weeks
profile.
ago.
That's a real profile. They grew up seeing this profile, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
They
That's a
saw
good
that when
assumption.
they were, but they never saw that, you know. But
Unless it was a damn small eating your eggs.
well, yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you
Bastards.
that. You know, but even a few years ago, when guys were getting real popular with the 14 mil, which was what 4 years ago, and everybody thought 14 mil was just so big, it was pretty clear that they wanted a 14 over a 12, even in clear water conditions. At least
So
the rivers.
weird to me.
It is super weird, but it's all about the flow. At least what we saw. The faster the water, the bigger the bead, we seem to get more bites. And then the slower the water, we downsize that bead to a 12 or a 10, and we'd get more bites out.
See, now that's an interesting piece of information because I've never heard that before. I've never
It's
heard
just
anyone
the speed
say.
as it's coming. At least what we're thinking. The speed is that bead is coming down. It's bigger, so they can catch the
Yep.
profile as it's getting to them. They can make their reaction bite. If it's slower, they can see that bead coming at them, 10 or an 8, and they got more time. It takes a little bit longer to get there.
So when we're up playing in the tribal, one thing that we noticed is if you upped your
Yeah.
weight, if you got it just a little bit heavier to slow it down a lot more in front of their faces,
Right.
you'd get 10 times the amount of bites
10
because it
times.
just slowed the bead and it would
You know-
stop it right in where all the fish were at and just
Another-
kind of like hover it in there.
Were you dragging?
Yeah, dragging.
Okay.
Dragging.
But the water was still pretty quick. The bait, and I think with that 8 mil bead, and when it was zipping by them, I think it was almost too fast.
Right.
To me, like the analogy might be like, okay, why we troll downstream maybe for springers, for herring. Like
Sure.
you give the fish enough time to see it, but you don't give them enough time to sit there
Yeah,
and
make a
look at it and
decision,
go, nah. You gotta make that snap decision.
Sure.
But I guess there's probably a line in there somewhere because, like you said, you're finding success bigger, smaller. There's a reason why we all have like 8 to 20 millimeters now.
So there's another. We just
6 millimeter.
talked about that, Owen. What do you prefer, hard bead or a soft bead?
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm dragging traditional bobber dogging, and my little crew of guys, we've been doing that for a long time. If we're dragging, I like soft beads because it's on the bottom, the weight's keeping it there. But we're finding ourselves doing a lot more suspended, chandelier fishing, where the bead's actually just dangling, the lead's not touching, kind of like jig fishing, traditional bead fishing, I guess is what you call it. But I like the hard beads in because it'll sink and stay down below the weight as opposed to the naturally buoyancy of that soft bead. So if I'm bobber dogging and I'm dragging my weight, I want a soft bead every single time, especially now that he's got it dialed in on pegging them, or others have figured out how to peg those things so they don't move. But if I'm chandeliering a lot on any particular day, I want a hard bead. So it just depends on the situation and how I'm fishing.
One thing we're going to need to do, Cam, is that glass. I don't know if you saw it, but on the hard bead versus soft bead video that we put out, there was 1 million people on YouTube
saw
that
that.
asked how to rig that. Like, they were, like, intrigued. Have you seen that little glass bead setup that Cam uses? Did you have that, Cam?
No.
So actually, Nick told me it. So I want to be fair. I do have it.
Yeah, Pop-Off told you. And there's some other people.
Like
that
actually glass bead, not a plastic bead?
Yeah, it's like a...
Will you shot string yours or put any split shot on yours if you're doing it like you said with a hard bead conventionally?
I don't. Not that you shouldn't. It's just...
I'm a shot guy. I do like the shot.
It just depends. Like if I'm in really clear water and I'm over 4 foot of water, over 4 foot of depth, and I want to keep the bead above it, then I'll actually use a 3 foot leader and I'll put a shot there. But most of the time, not really.
So a lot of people, I think, are going to ask that, and I see Garden Frugal just asked it.
That's Garden Frugal.
That's Clint. Did you know Clint has a YouTube... Hey, Owen, did you know Clint has a YouTube channel called Garden Frugal? You should go watch it.
No.
Dude, it's epic. You should go check it out, dude. He grows this pineapple by himself.
Really?
And the video has like over 1 million views of Clint growing a pineapple. You guys want to check it out?
Can we turn that camera around?
Dude, he's red.
Oh, turn the camera around. Turn the camera around.
I hate all of you.
You guys should all go subscribe. Garden Frugal.
So
Anyways, but no, that highlighted comment, the first I heard of it is from this guy, and we were getting a lot of questions about it. So have this guy explain.
Yeah, we'll talk about it here in a second.
that is now. How the heck are you doing that?
It's a knot he showed me, so.
So there's actually knots in the
knots
leader
it.
hole.
And we use 12 pound, but what's crazy about that is we went up and, like you said, you'll see in the Addicted Life episode coming soon, a couple
Oh my
of them.
God, shut up.
You are good at that.
But what I'm saying though is that we got to test this like with 12 pound on like I said 16, 18, 20 pound class fish over and over. Or how many fish did you break off?
None.
How many fish did I break off?
None.
No
How many
kidding.
fish you
I
break
mean,
off,
we
Ben?
lost a lot.
We lost a
didn't
few,
lose them,
yeah,
but
yeah,
breaking
Didn't
them.
break any of them off. Like
Wow.
none of the leaders broke.
There's
there.
even a part in the video where I'm like, check it out, look how strong this Okuma rod is with this leader, and I'm like, and I have a 20-pound fish on it. I'm like,
He's
just
not even caring. There's so many up there.
You
so
catch so many.
It
up
must
there.
be nice to
matter.
go up to a place that has 20 pounders everywhere.
Well,
You can just shake them off and just throw a Okuma little clip in there.
that's-
See how that?
But that's what
Dude, it
happens
was-
when you put fish in the water on this bad ocean.
Yeah,
I
no,
asked the
it's-
guy, I'm like, how many
Not
fish do
arguing.
you put in here? Oh, we don't know.
All
we
of
just
them.
we just do as many as we can handle.
Yeah.
Good boy.
That's what he said.
What sucks about that, I don't want to get sidetracked. What sucks about that is that there's proven science. Okay, this is what guys are actually doing. Get as many of them in there as you can, and guess what? You have a hell of a fishery. But when you say, "Oh, we can't put that many in because there's no
They killed
sustainability
that
or whatever,"
6 days a week.
Are you
and,
kidding me?
The numbers are there, and you know what? We're just sitting there, and here's an 18-pound clipped fish. Oh, inferior hatchery fish again. Yeah.
okay, I'm
Started.
looking forward to that.
We should just get Owen up there.
I'm looking for that.
When do you wanna go?
Addicted
Owen,
Life,
when do you wanna go?
video.
When do you want to go? Let's get up
Anytime
there.
I can go.
Not,
Let
not a
me know.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Not Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
But yeah,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
we,
get up
we have
there.
an awesome guy.
Really?
It would be fun.
I would be there.
Sorry, guys, we're getting sidetracked as hell.
Excited talking fishing.
Explain chandeliering to people. What is that?
It's just suspended bead fishing. So you're just fishing your regular float that you would normally use, whatever you want. When I'm fishing
It's
from the bank,
exact-
most of the
it's
time I'm
exactly
actually fishing a
right.
fixed float.
And I fish.
A lot
sorry.
of people are asking what it
I didn't know
is.
if you didn't know what it is.
No.
You don't fish beads.
No,
These
a
guys
bunch
are
of people
friends, I swear.
Are
Yeah. So
When we were talking about chandelier, it's suspending a bead. So it's like jig fishing, but it's just a bead instead of a jig. And when I'm fishing, most of the time, if I'm in my sled, I'm running sliding setups. When I'm on the bank or in a drift boat, I'm fishing a fixed float for bobber dogging. So it makes it a lot easier. I can switch it from one that's dragging, and if I decide that I want to fish a different section of water, maybe on an inside seam where it's only 2-3 feet deep, I'll bring it all the way down, my float all the way down to the lead, and just chandelier that or suspend that bead. So it's just ticking, within a foot of the bottom.
with no shot.
No shot.
see, I
Interesting.
had a little,
See, I
had a
thought
little
it
shot
was
on
called
mine.
chandeliering because it had like shot pattern down the line.
No, just chandeliering, just hanging straight down.
Interesting.
But you usually, like you
That's
said,
that's a
the
term
hook's
for
gonna help.
running a jig, running a bead.
Yeah,
I mean,
now-
so far back, long before me. I mean, that's long before me. Long before.
There's a highlighted question for you, Owen.
Fish Killer Freddy said he won't fish with Owen anymore because his idea of pegging and Owen's are slightly different. Try to keep this PG if you know what I mean.
Who is that?
I have no idea who Paul is offhand, but
Oh, I figured it was a friend.
no, offhand I can't think of. No,
Way to go, Clint.
but everybody knows Fish Killer Freddy. Actually, the way that we're actually rigging our beads,
producer.
the way we're rigging our beads is quite a bit different than what
Cole,
most
can you
people
take
are.
over, please?
Yeah, because we do have Cole, my producer here, hanging out with us.
Oh,
No,
man.
Freddie and I are both running our beads the same way. We're actually throughing our hard beads. We're doing a triple wrap on them so they don't slide. Freddie came up with that somehow a couple of years ago.
What you do? Don't you do that sometimes? Yeah.
And I started doing it, running the boat, and your bobber gets hung up, and you pop it, right? And with soft beads in particular, it just would slide right down your hook, and you're not fishing like you're supposed to. So we started doing that. It never moves. No matter what, it never moves.
That's why Cam is just so anal about that thing.
But see, now this is really interesting. I like that. If you slid that bead on top of it, I mean,
So that's a soft bead.
but it's got
with
a hard bead on
in
the
it.
inside.
That's a lured incognito bead.
Yeah.
With the glass bead that can never move.
So that just means that hard
That's
bead
so
on the
dirty.
inside of that bead
try
will
it.
not go over.
Try. Like I mean,
Watch, I'm gonna get a hook.
No, you're gonna. Yeah, I can see it just dink. Oh.
That would be hilarious, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it would.
For everybody else.
I would laugh.
I mean, we get
No,
some
that's
views.
all. I can't get
We
it.
definitely would get some shares going.
Yeah,
We
and
can
so
sync that.
it's and like I said, just fine tuning that a little bit. Now, obviously, that's just these are little 8 mils.
Hey
and
Clint,
stuff
do you
that
want
get
to
made,
do you want to
but I'm
randomly
telling you,
select
like,
someone for the
No, I
Okuma
really
hat?
like
Throw
that.
up a
I've
winner
never-
there, bud.
I have not seen it.
Sure, but ask him another question. Let's get some comments.
Another
going,
thing too,
so-
like you can, like see, so we don't get a chance to talk to much, but other thing you can push a little.
How
bit
many
if
of you
just
guys
like
watching have
2080.
watched Outdoor
Yes.
GPS? How many of you guys out there watching? How many people? We got 125 of you watching. How many of you guys have seen Outdoor
You got
GPS?
125 grand watching right now?
No.
Yeah, you wish. 125 people total.
Oh,
Yeah, comment yes or no whether you've watched Outdoor GPS. We're going to randomly select someone from the comments to win this Okuma hat and decal. Clint is going to select from,
Okuma!
You want me to?
yep, from the YouTube comments.
Maybe be a little more selective on selecting anything.
And maybe Paul can win.
I mean, we could start having Charles do that too. Charles, why don't you start picking the winners randomly?
Paul,
Show
I might
Clint.
know Paul, but I can't. Paul, man, I just
Show
didn't know your last name.
Charles how to do the random comment generator thing.
That's so. The random generator. Perfect. Scroll,
Man.
baby.
You're gonna have to show me that.
Come on, guys,
We're
comment. Let's
sitting
see.
here doing this, and I keep looking back at the speed, going.
Can you tie one, Cam, in front of the camera? Let's see it.
Do you think you could do that with?
Let's
10
switch to
pound?
this camera, Clinton, while these people are
So, I
commenting
will
whether or
say-
not they have.
Does it
seen
have to
Outdoor
be 12
GPS
to
or not?
sustain that knot?
Cam's gonna tie this.
I will say I've tied it with a few other materials, even 12-pound and 10-pound, and definitely I prefer that P-Line SS.
Okay.
Just because it's a good,
Super
very
durable.
good quality, very good durable fluorocarbon.
Absolutely.
Not all fluorocarbons for the same pound ratings are created equal.
Absolutely not.
And we've all been there and done that. So I will say that.
And you're
going
going
to
to be experimenting with the Shinsi, which we've played with a lot for the last handful of years. Shinsi would be fantastic for that. At least it's durable. That knot, I couldn't say offhand, but if you can get a knot on 12-pound to not snap on a 20-pound fish.
over and over and over again.
I mean, I've had
it's
a
crazy.
wind knot where you just
Right.
go over.
Let's see. So we got
Well,
a lot of
this
people.
guy's
I
setting
watch
the
it,
hook.
Never seen
Yeah,
it.
trust me.
Every episode, we got lots of followers. Not I. There's a few people that haven't seen it. Not yet. No. Yes.
Well, do they have?
Yeah, man. Every week. Yes. Absolutely.
Because if it's Comcast.
No.
So like if it's direct.
Not yet, but I will.
Xfinity, yeah.
Xfinity. Sorry.
Yeah, Xfinity.
Well, there's a lot of you out there that don't watch it. So when can they find it and where?
It's Thursday night, Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sunday mornings on NBC Sports Northwest. Also on Hulu Live. Also on iHeartRadio. Also on PlayStation View. Also on Rip City Radio, 620 AM.
Sweet.
I mean, everywhere.
And explain that it's a Northwest fishing show because there could be people.
It's just all fishing and hunting. It's a live television show, a lot like what you guys do, obviously. Live, just talking about.
It's a
fishing and
lot
hunting
what
in
we
Northwest.
like what we do, but 100 times more professional and just done way better. So
Whoa!
go check out Outdoor GPS.
First off, let's say that's not entirely true. Okay? Now, I will say that it is wrong. The same part. I'll just say that.
But regardless, all you guys out there that don't watch it, check it out. Owen just splattered off.
I didn't know it was on Hulu, so that's cool.
It's everywhere.
Hulu.
So check it out. It's
I can
it's definitely a fun show. Every now and then, me and Cam are on there as well. So check it out. Thursdays, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Correct.
Cam is gonna. We're gonna switch
10
to
years
this.
in. Thank you.
Hell yeah! Celebrating
That's right.
10
We
years.
did videos
10
for your
years,
10-year
man.
anniversary in July, wasn't
Yeah, I
it?
know. Thanks for coming out for that too and lying.
fun.
It was awesome.
All right, guys, we're gonna switch to this camera,
That's funny.
and Cam is gonna show
Hold on,
all
give
you
me a
people
second.
out there
Yeah, I need a second too.
Okay,
how
good.
to tie this knot.
Just
Well, 2 knots, right?
What's that?
It's 2 knots.
Oh yeah, it's
One total, but I gotta make a leader because I had to tie more leaders up for the boys, so I left it on.
Paul, if you know Fish Killer Freddy, tell him to log on now so he can watch how to tie the knot,
It's
so that he can show me how to do it.
I gotta tie an egg
I
loop
can't
first.
find Shinsi anywhere. He says.
It is kind of tough to find. You can find it online. Fisherman's does carry it, but it does go.
Have
out
you used
quickly.
it? You've used it.
Yeah, a lot.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it. It's.
I didn't know if it was a new product. I was not. I checked out during that part of the conversation. I totally forgot
Shinsi's
already.
been around for a little while. The SS is newer than the Shinsi.
Oh, okay.
Charles, did you pick a winner?
But it's a great
Charles
line.
been?
I mean, really,
Oh,
all the way.
okay,
I
cool.
fish it all the way down to 8 pound. The river that I'm fishing right now is literally as clear as the air between me and that camera.
Yeah.
And if you're not fishing 8 to 10 pounds, super thin, super strong, because if you do get lucky,
It's getting a
you'll
wild
lose
season.
it like I do. But
Yep.
you really need that really good fluoro. I think to at least get the bites. We're even using fluoro on pink worms with jigs. Normally I wouldn't say to do that, or that you would need to, but we scaled that down to 10 pound SS as well.
Yeah. No, there's no question.
I will say I was like the guy for years, and you guys can all
Yeah.
attest to it, that I was like 20 pound,
Step right here.
20
Okay.
pound, 20 pound, 20 pound. That's all I ever used was 20 pound fluorocarbon. I used to use Seagar a lot. I freaking loved Seagar. But then I started using the SS, and I liked it just as much. I didn't see
Are
any
you still
qualms
fishing
with it.
20?
So I used to fish 20 with everything, but the more and more I fished with these guys and started fishing like behind people, and I think it was making a difference. I think I was catching less fish because I was just constantly fishing 20 because
It depends
in
on-
pressured rivers, rivers that were pressured
exactly.
only. I think if I'm on a river where there's no one, like we floated one the other day and I used 20 the whole time knowing that there's big fish, and I hooked all 4 fish. My buddy didn't hook anything. So, but that river also had 0 people in front of us, not one other boat. We had the whole river to ourselves.
Huh. So unpressured fish that felt comfortable.
And that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
When we went up north.
When we went up north, if you fished 20 and you
You
put
did.
20 through the hole, you weren't getting a bite, period. At all.
Right.
Like, they just weren't going to bite it.
And it was crazy because like again, kind of a target rich environment when it's like, okay, I'm gonna switch to 20 so I can get that 20 pound steel, and your buddy's fishing 12, and it's like 10 to 0 in an hour.
Right.
You're like, gotta figure something out.
I'd rather go to the 12 and get the bite.
Yeah,
that much
exactly.
of a difference.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And then I wasn't just impressed with the 12, like I said, at how strong it was. I just had always been this type of guy that was like, nope, 12, that'll break.
Right.
As soon as I hook a 20, it's breaking.
But like I
But it
said,
was really
you're
strong.
talking, but keep in mind too, like not all 12s are created equal.
Yeah, exactly.
Not all like so. There's a little bit of that. Like this is the P-Line SS is a very good quality 12.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Marlin winter coming up.
Cool.
winter coming up.
All right, Derek Hinman. Derek Hinman, thanks to everyone that comments and shares this feed out there. Derek Hinman, you won yourself a Okuma hat and decal. Please shoot us an email at orders@addicted.fishing. Orders@addicted.fishing. Let us know that you want an Okuma hat and decal, and we'll get it shipped out to you, buddy.
And we're the hat proud.
Hell yeah. I think Derek, at one point, way back in the day, won an Okuma rod on one of our live feeds.
Oh, really?
like a couple years ago. So shout out to Derek. Now you got yourself a hat, dude, to pair with it.
Honestly, I don't remember that. I don't remember much. Okay, not.
Tie a knot.
Yeah, let's switch over to Cam and show you guys these knots. A lot of you addicts out there have been asking for this knot, so
That's a glass
hopefully
bead,
you can
right?
see it.
Glass bead, not plastic.
Okay.
Because your plastics with some of the beads that are made, it's just like you'll get the you put the certain bass worms in a bad tackle box.
Yeah,
and
it'll
they
melt. Yeah.
Your bead will collapse.
Right.
So you don't want that. So glass bead.
Glass. So what
Michael,
size is that?
This is a 8/0 or a 3 mil, depending on if you go
Okay.
to Michael's. If you go to Michael's,
The other way. There you
there
go.
you go. It's not going to focus on that, but you got the idea. So glass bead.
So it's a clear glass bead. Have you played with colors? Like maybe
yeah,
red
I've
or
got
pink?
reds
Or...
and oranges and all that sorts of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but clear for those little 8 mil incognitos. I was just running these. Line goes through once. I'm just gonna do. I know you guys aren't gonna see this right away, but line goes through once. Space it about 2 inches from the hook, right? Take your line and run it through the same direction. And what you're gonna do is you make a loop. So I got my loop and my hook hanging, right? Now. You're gonna want to play. Gotta speak here. Playing with your spacing on where you're gonna eventually pull and cinch down the knot will change the position of how far your bead is from your hook. And you're always looking for about 2 to 2.5 fingers. So you guys can see there, I've got the bead. I'm just gonna show you here. The bead is kind of rolled up in there, and the line's gone through it twice, and it creates that loop. You're gonna take that hook now, and you're gonna run it through that 8 to 10 times. I'm just going to wrap it around. I'm putting the hook through the loop, and I'm just going to go the same direction 8 or 10 times. And it's going to get a little crazy in the camera here for a second because I'm going to just wrap. You're not going to be able to see too well. Oops, sorry guys. I did a live feed on this Saturday night on Fishing Addicts. Y'all should have seen it. So then, the bead. I'm going to put the bead about 1 inch away from the hook. And you can see how I have wraps on each side of that? I'm going to moisten it. And then I'm going to cinch it down. That one worked out really well. Cinch down. As you can see, one thing crazy about the knot is it won't like kink the line. I want to try to move that over the black. Won't kink the line. You can pull on it. And then if your spacing is correct, like I said, you're gonna learn to play with that. Should be about 2.5 fingers away from the bottom of the hook. Just like that.
Okay, I'm a huge fan.
And it's a fly, and I did a little research on it. It's actually like used for fly fishing. The guys would attach like little weights and little like nymph weights to it. So I saw some videos on it where they'll take like little lead shots and stuff like that and use that knot to attach it into like really light fly line for like trout fishing and nymphing and stuff. But yeah, anyways, then you can take whatever bead you want. You can take a soft bead, you can slide it down. And you can get a little more of an embryo look if you use a rad bead. You can push the soft bead actually over the top of that bead, and it will still have some resistance. Or what I like to do with that sucker is just put a hard bead on it. Because if you put a hard bead on it,
it ain't going
anywhere. And I've caught plenty of fish on that so far. But now, like I said, with these little guys, which is best of both worlds, like basically
with the bead on the inside.
Yeah, with those incognitos, I'm literally calling that the maintenance-free soft bead. I mean, you got all the benefits of soft bead, all the benefits of hard bead, like in one. And just to be full disclosure, I have still not caught a fish on this. However, I've only fished it and played with it for 2 days. But I know plenty of guys that have caught a lot of fish on this.
Okay.
So like I said, but what I can tell already, like I said, full disclosure, I'm not going to sit here and just try to pump it. I can tell you, I could go fishing with that all day. I could put on a client's rod all day. And like I said, I'm going to catch a lot of fish on jigs and bait. But just in testing and in doing and in fishing, 0 problems. No problematics. I mean, nothing.
Do you think you could take that knot down to 10 pound? Or,
I don't
or
know.
8?
I don't know. Don't know on that.
What pound?
Because
This is 12?
That's 12. Yep. And like I said, we have fished that knot with hard beads and little full soft beads, not these incognitos. Like we caught 50 or 60 fish in one day on that. With like,
it doesn't
with
work.
A combination.
It doesn't work as good on a full soft bead, in my opinion.
No, because the soft bead can still
slide
just
over
like with some of the others, you can still slide over it. However, with clients,
it does work better though.
It works better, but with clients, what's nice is that spacing's always the same. And
yeah.
so, like, because I notice when I'm bobber dogging soft beads or fishing with clients, okay, move it 2 inches.
Yep.
Okay, sometimes 2 inches turns into that one time. And the
7
next
inches.
time I look at it, it's like that. It's like,
Right.
it's very consistent. Anyways, like I said, it's just those little things. But
I'm glad I came tonight. 'Cause
yeah,
I just
I was
learned
gonna say,
something
James
cool.
Morgan's like, "Are you kidding? That's it." Yeah, that knot
Yeah.
is very, very silly. And like I said, I can't remember
What are
what
you
I
pointing
saw
at?
on this fly fishing website, what they called it, but it was
yeah.
some kind of twist knot or something.
It ain't going nowhere.
Questions coming in on the reel, and what's the name of the knot? So what's
I don't
that
know what the
line?
name of the knot.
I don't know the name of the knot either, and I saw a couple people say that the first person that did that was Steelhead Stalkers, and that's one of the first person I saw do
Yeah.
it as well. So if you're looking for like an in-depth tutorial on exactly how to tie that knot, we'll have one coming out soon. But if you need it sooner than that,
It's on
Steelhead Stalkers has one on their website, a high-definition video of exactly how
and
to tie that
there's
knot.
an Orvis knot too, where I saw it was on the Orvis like fly fishing page.
Exactly. It's been
Jesus, you broke the bead.
I did? Or no, I think the
broke-
bead.
no,
No,
at
the
the
bead
bead.
just shot.
No,
broke
no,
at
the
where-
bead came off.
yeah.
I literally, okay, so 12-pound SS.
Yeah.
Okay. I gave it everything I possibly could, and I actually thought I just cut my hand. True story.
I'm
As it
telling
was
you.
popping, I thought I just cut the skin on my... That is awesome.
I'm telling you what.
I hate to destroy your work, but
No,
I
no,
needed
no.
to know.
That's okay.
I needed
because
to know what it was going to take.
You'll see a couple episodes coming from that where it's a stroke fest on just
that's-
nothing but monster fish, and those are the knots we're using, and it's insane.
That could be a
I-
little bit of a game changer.
It is capitalize. You know, it allows you to make more casts.
That's
it
the
allows,
key,
The
yeah.
other thing too, what I like about it is when I'm in the sled, and you'll appreciate this.
Yeah.
And you're making those. Sometimes when the water's up, you're going to make those 100-yard bobber dog runs,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate seeing that. You know, client or myself, you go out and that they cast out, the weight sinks to the bottom, immediately hooks the bottom. They give it one of those, and then you're thinking the whole time, like, damn it, did that
The
bead,
bead's
did
on the
that-
hook,
Did
bead's
that
on the
bead
hook.
slide? Did it? Should I reel it in?
Yep.
No, I'm going to let it fish. And then it's in the back of your head the whole time. You're going, did the bead slide? Did the bead slide? Did the bead slide? The other advantage of that, too, like, there is a way you can take, like, mono in your nail knots and stuff like that. But sometimes cinching those down, you get that same effect. And then those nail knots moving up and down, too, will eventually, like, wear.
Yeah, I've never had any success with those. I mean, I've done that.
But I know guys.
Stuff still
have-
slides.
You know, to each their own. But
Yeah.
either way,
I like
said,
that.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's kind of new.
I can tell you this: the three or the triple wrap in a bead sticks that thing solid, right? It don't move. I've lost 3 fish this year and got nothing back but a pigtail. Because as you're fishing, that thing hits the bottom, it hits the rocks, and everything could nick it, whatever. Lose a fish. That I'd still have my fish.
Maybe. Because
Well,
it's
maybe
still bead fishing.
It's still bead fishing, but I would much rather bring in that than a
Yeah,
little
cool.
pigtail. I mean,
Very neat.
that's really neat. To
Okay,
accomplish
we've
the same
gotten that
thing.
question 400 times now, so let's talk about this reel.
Boom! We gotta wrap it up, but we're gonna talk about this. And for those of you guys that don't know, we will be on Facebook Live right after this.
You give up?
And we're gonna be talking about all that other good stuff. So, really
Okay.
fast, talking about that.
Beautiful.
It's a cool reel. Thanks for
Yeah,
tuning
it's
in,
over.
guys. See ya.
Nice to see you.
Just kidding. This is the Akuma. I don't. What's the word? What are they calling it?
Go to that camera.
Go to this camera.
Well, it's a low profile line counter, but
It's a
it's
low-
the SS.
The SS. Okay, the
So it's
Akuma
gonna-
Low Pro SS. Got
It's
it.
the Komodo, the Okuma Komodo that they've had for years. That really was the base for that particular frame, which was all stainless steel gears on the inside. They just shrunk it down. They put the line counter on it so that you could use it for a lot more years. I mean, it really is. Everything in it that's plastic on a regular low profile Okuma is now stainless.
Ooh, I gotta do. I'm doing like the
Or
model
brass.
thing
They took the brass out too.
It does, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is it just freaking looks dope.
It does look good.
Like I need 8 of those on my rods.
Well,
tomorrow.
as you guys know, the low profile line counter from Okuma has literally taken over the line counter market from the West Coast
No question.
all the way over to the Midwest on the Great Lakes. Anywhere that there's a line counter market, the low profile line counter from Okuma has taken that market
Yeah,
over.
and we all know why, right? Because we've used it and we love it.
It's
and
a great
freaking
reel,
such an
and it
amazing
fits in
reel.
your hand.
Not only have we used this, but we've used other reels as well.
Absolutely.
and
We've tested a lot of different ones.
Correct. Now, the big one, the 400 they came out with, is a fantastic reel too, and it's also got stainless gears in it, but they're not talking so much about that. This is the one that they're...
This is the new one. They just released this at the Puyallup Sportsman Show. I
And
heard
so
they-
this will
I
be
heard
at
some
the-
of the retailers
It
like
will be at
ran
the-
out like the first day, and then they got
Yeah.
more on Friday or something. But this will be
At the show.
at the Portland Sportsman.
We'll have
Show,
a
guys.
couple at our booth for you to look at, but then obviously Bob's and Fisherman are directly kitty corner to our booth. So
Right.
You can buy them at either one of those places.
Well, the Okuma will be there. They'll be there with P-Line and Beckman and everything else. It's all wrapped up in that whole scenario. And then you'll find them at the retailers there for sale. So if you go to the Okuma booth, they won't necessarily have those for sale there. They'll be at the retailers.
They'll be at the retailers. But they'll be on display there. You guys can check them out, get your questions answered too. And honestly, like, we got these like right towards the tail end of the salmon season for Washington, but then they closed it. And then I thought, oh, cool, I'll just go to Oregon, and I'm just going to go, I'll go back trolling some kings with them. And then they closed that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I've caught a bunch of sturgeon on them. But they work great, and they feel really clean. Like, they feel real tight. Like, the tolerances, like, I'm telling you what, like, yeah, you're right. These are all getting switched over to Springer.
I already been like, all right, how can I start switching them over?
Yep,
without my wife knowing.
Dave, we need 4 dozen. We need 4 dozen of them
Perfect,
sent this
perfect.
way. 4 dozen.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
I need a dozen for mine. You need
I was
a
going to say,
dozen.
is Marlon going to get any of those?
Well, yeah, there's 4 dozen. He's
Yeah.
got the 3rd dozen.
I need 3.
Well, yeah, you're right. He's got the big
I
boat.
need 3. I don't need 3. Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Can't wait.
Jay Lee says, please, we need to upgrade our mic. He can barely hear us. Well, Jay. I
Sorry,
think you need to
Jay.
turn your
Everybody else can
volume
hear
up.
us.
Hi, Jay. Look at
It
this.
just
Oh, geez.
maxed out. In all seriousness, Jay, no one else has complained about that, buddy. So maybe
I saw one guy say that.
Oh well, then Clint, what the f? Turn it up.
Or you could watch Pineapple Grow.
Ooh!
He's already on board.
Hey, I just had to come over here. Hey,
All right, wrap it up.
win in
And
Rome.
we're done.
Win in Rome.
But hey,
I'm on
Quickly,
somebody
though.
else's turf. I gotta
Quickly, though, I
jump
got to
in.
make a couple Sportsman Show
quick,
announcements.
quick sport.
If you come to our booth wearing Addicted Apparel at any of the time during the Sportsman Show, it's February 6th through the 10th. Come to our booth, rocking Addicted Apparel. You're going to be entered into a pretty badass prize pack that we have going on there. We're not going to tell you what it is because we want you to come to our booth and find out.
That's because they don't know exactly what the price pack
And
is.
he's right. But
It'll
That
be
was
there.
actually-
Guaranteed. It'll be there.
this guy just
You know how I know that? Because I
calls
do
me
like
out.
3
Yeah,
giveaways a
you
show,
do.
and half the time I'm like, what are we giving away, guys?
Basically, what it boils down to is like what our manufacturers and our partners ship to us before that. So it's going to be great.
No, it will. So last
It'll be
year we
awesome.
gave away a big fishing package. It was a rod, a reel, all sorts of gear and stuff. So it'll be something of that sort. So come to our booth wearing Addicted Apparel, and you'll be entered into that. Also,
Automatic.
we have a bunch of our new worms that are going to be there for sale. Apparel, all sorts of stuff. So come hang out at the booth. Come support. Come hang out. Take some pictures.
It's always
We'd
a
love
good
to
time.
meet
We
all
got
you guys.
60 feet of booth space this year.
Yes,
for
we
you
have
guys.
a
We
10
got the whole
by 30,
aisle.
10 by 30 with Addicted, and then
I
we
can't
have
help myself.
bunch
So
of
is
our
that for the
Addicted guides.
egos, or is that for all the dudes that are actually in there?
It's for
both.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No.
We'll be honest.
No,
Honesty.
in all reality, because we expanded our apparel
Dude,
a bunch
you know
this
how
year.
many
So
times-
last year we only sold a couple different sweatshirts. This year we have like 5 or 6 varieties of sweatshirts to choose from, a bunch of different hats, a bunch of different t-shirts. Our worms are sent, so we just needed more space. And then we have all of our Addicted guides. Last
And the
year
problem
Jordan
is-
didn't get a booth, so Jordan's going to have a booth this year next to us. We have Pop Off next to us, so a lot of the guys already had booths, but what we do is we went to the Sportsman Show and said, hey, move all of our guys right next to us.
Right.
A lot of times too, like during those busier times, a lot of people would come by the booth and then be like, they'd try to like come say hi or do whatever, and they'd be like, it'd be crowded because it was so contrite, and then they would come by, and then you'd hear like, oh, he came by, wanted to come by and talk
Couldn't
to you
say
guys,
hi.
couldn't get in there, like, not this year.
So this is the set you're going to have your Addicted set
Yep.
there from Procure.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much every bite that I've had this year has been with you. Now it's not a lot of bites, so don't put anything to it. But really, I am really a big fan. The Winter Blend, even your salmon stuff. You said it worked, and it really did. I was surprised by that.
It wasn't throwing darts at the dartboard.
No.
Hey.
We put like shrimp here, krill here. We just throw a dart and be like, okay, 1/3 that.
I figured Steve just threw it together for you and said, "Put your name on it." Turned out it was all
It
you.
was completely the opposite.
I know.
Yeah.
I tried to get the
I got
ingredients.
tired-
I tried
I
to
got-
get the ingredients out of
I got-
Steve's like, I don't
yeah.
even know what they
I
are.
was gonna say I got tired of mixing it myself.
Right.
That's what it was.
Well,
So,
I like
yeah,
your
we will
worms
have
too.
it,
You got different versions of the worms? Or are they all the same version?
We got a bunch of different patterns, so we got 10 different colors that we have available at the show. All the same version, all the 6-inch. A few people have asked, why do you only sell
Sold it,
6-inch?
Justin.
Why don't you sell 4-inch?
Well,
The
cut-
beauty of a 6-inch is you can cut it to 4-inch.
Okay, I'll suppose.
Bam! 4 inches. just like
Exactly.
that. Did you
So,
see
like,
that?
Exactly. And the other difference is the nice thing about the 6-inch, when you cut them to a 4, they maintain that little bit bigger, rounder profile, where the 4-inch has a little bit smaller of a round
Good
profile.
point. Or you could use
Everybody
your Gerber
likes
to
a
cut
big
it.
profile on
Exactly.
their worm.
No, I like it.
Everyone
Great
loves
color.
big profiles on their worms.
Yep.
Everybody.
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna
like try
completely
not to
stay
laugh.
away from that.
Justin, I sold my fish finder. It's gone.
I have one for sale though.
That's right, you do. That's right, he does.
I just got
All right,
got a
guys.
new one. So.
We better wrap it up because Clint's getting mad. And so, for those of you guys that don't know, go over
was
to
teasing.
the Addicted Fishing page on Facebook, and we're going to go live, and we're going to go a little more in depth onto being a little more efficient and actually capitalizing on the bites that you're going to get on the water. And we're going to talk some more Portland Sportsman Shore stuff over there.
And taking care of wild steelhead when you land them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep, we got a new video out for those of you guys that don't know on YouTube. We got Jordan Knigge releasing wild steelhead, some tips and pointers on that because I don't want to see any more wild steelhead drug up on the rocks.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it. Don't do it.
Especially this year, like
We're going to get into this now.
We're
We'll
struggling.
see you guys over at Facebook. We're going to talk about this for 20 minutes.